Coming up right now on Shelby this week, if you thought the oil drilling fight was over in the township, think again. Oil operations could resume sometime this year.
Hello everyone and welcome to Shelby This Week. Top news stories, drilling update, Plan B for a ballot proposal, and a big climb for heroes. All this plus much more, but first. Exploratory drilling in Shelby has been a hot issue for the past 6 months. As oil wells enter neighborhoods, townships are pushing back. Nick Monticelli takes a look at where we're at on the conflict between business and neighborhoods.
The residents obviously not happy at all to hear that operations could resume, but there is a lot that will happen between now and then, including township regulation changes and some lengthy battles at the state capitol. One of the most controversial places in Shelby Township looks much different than it used to. The oil drilling machines are gone, and Mother Nature has covered whatever work was done.
There was quite a bit of noise and trucks coming and going.
That does not mean residents have forgotten.
We did not buy this place here because we wanted to be somewhere where there was a fledgling oil industry.
Their peace and quiet could be gone again, though. According to township records, West Bay Exploration wants to install a completion well to determine if the well previously drilled is commercially feasible. They wanted to do that in January. The township said it violated the moratorium and they would have to present to the Board of Trustees. Stay tuned to see what happens there, especially with many doubting the validity of that moratorium.
No, they'd have to find some way of overruling it, but we got some work to do.
The people that started the ruckus and, are going to be madder than hell that thing's going to be showing up again.
Part 2 of this story is pending legislation at the state capitol. Representative Peter Lucido wants to give local cities and townships the say-so on oil drilling operations. Right now, it's entirely up to the state.
So the MDEQ is exclusive jurisdiction. The township doesn't even say boo to what's going on.
There is debate over that, many blaming the township for allowing this. In reality, it had no say-so. But according to documents in 2013, Shelby Township was involved in other oil drilling projects, many around the Vistion plant. Those projects were on township land, and West Bay had to lease the property. The latest project was on private land.
I would like to see the township have control of what happens in the township.
There could, however, be a problem, though, if the townships aren't capable of regulating things like this.
Well, that's got to be a proven fact. Right now, you're making a speculation. I believe.
As of right now, they can't do it. They don't have the staff to do it. How do we get to that point?
Who says we don't have the staff?
Well, tell me who works there, though.
Who says we don't have the staff?
In our township office, who is qualified to regulate a well?
I guess I'd have to ask the supervisor and his staff.
If a township leader, though, comes to you and says, Pete, we love your idea. This is good. We want control back. However, I don't know how we're going to handle this. What's your answer?
Find an answer.
The second introduced bill comes from Representative Michael Weber in Rochester. He wants to increase the distance that oil operations are allowed from homes. Right now, it's 450 feet. His proposal is 1,000 feet. That's going from a distance of 1.5 football fields to 3.5 football fields.
I just think it gives people that extra peace of mind that this is farther away. They're not going to hear it as much. They're not going to see it as much. I just think, you know, in the year 2015, the technology is there for them to do it farther away. It does not take people's property rights away in terms of them being able to lease their mineral rights as they can do currently. But it just says, you know, let's take notice of the fact that these are high density areas. You know, it may work in a rural community. I don't want to limit what they're doing in these other counties. I mean, we have 83 counties in Michigan. I'm focusing on 3 counties. But
so your bill would only affect Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb?
It would, as written currently, it would, you know, by limiting it to those counties, sometimes if it doesn't affect their area, you know, some of these reps or senators may be more apt to vote for it.
Those two bills have not been scheduled for the Energy Policy Committee on the House side, of course. Then it goes to the Senate for confirmation, so we could be looking at several months before anything is decided on. For Shelby This Week, I'm Nick Monticelli.
All right, Nick, good information on that topic. We're 2 months out until that initiative will be voted on as gas prices continue to climb. Let's see who's eager about the plan to raise sales tax to fix our roads. Charlie Cadato reports on what Plan B is if this proposal doesn't go through.
This May, voters will decide whether they want to see the state sales tax increase from 6% to 7% to fund road renovation, mass transit, and schools. The proposal will be on the May 5th ballot, and it's supported by schools, road construction projects, and some local governments. If passed by voters, the sales tax increase would generate more than $1.6 billion per year. The House Fiscal Agency says the money would be split to support several statewide measures. But County Executive Mark Hackle says there should have been an alternative.
I'm upset because of this reason. They could have done this already, we could be moving forward, we could be fixing roads, but instead of leading, they decided to turn it back over to the voters. And why did they do that? Because they didn't want somebody to get mad at them, they didn't want somebody to be upset. Well, that's what being a public elected official is about, trying to figure out how do you make the decisions that are necessary moving forward.
The proposal would give $1.2 billion for roads, $130 million for mass transit, $300 million for schools, and $95 million to local governments. Hackle says this was done to drum up support.
You're going to have DPWs and counties that are trying to figure out, okay, yeah, we have to support this, and even schools, educational systems. They had something in this for everyone to get them to support it, but unfortunately, I think they left out the public.
As it stands, the average sales tax across the country is just over 5%. If the proposal passes, Michigan would have one of the highest sales taxes in the country. Legislative leaders in Lansing say they're already discussing what happens if this fails, but there aren't many options on the table. Hackle says that's unacceptable and there should be a Plan B.
There is no backup plan. There's no Plan B that's out there. And it also is going to have an impact on what we're going to be doing with regional transit. People are going to vote on this in May and try to make a determination, yes or no. If they vote for it, there's going to be some assumptions that down the road when we start talking about how do we fund regional transit, that this is going to support and fix that too. It does not.
I reached out to Utica Community Schools, but they couldn't comment before broadcast. For Shelby This Week, I'm Charlie Cadato.
All right, 2 more months till we vote on that. Would you climb 70 flights of stairs? How about if it was for a good cause? Nick Buckler tells us about some local firefighters who went that extra step recently, and it wasn't easy.
The 2015 Fight for Air Climb is underway, benefiting the American Lung Association in downtown Detroit at the Renaissance Center, where the Shelby Township Fire Department is yet again participating.
I'm not gonna make it.
These were common sounds in the stairwell of the Renaissance Center Sunday, where firefighters from across the state came together for the Fight for Air Climb.
This is a great charity. It's American Lung. It's a stair climb, full gear, 70 floors, 1,035 steps. We raised up $1,500 this year to donate for cancer research for American Lung.
Shelby firefighters pride themselves on their battle through the pain of the 70 flights of stairs. Believe it or not, they actually trained specifically for this event year-long.
We pretty much have been preparing for this year-round. It's our 5th year doing it, so we know what to be. It's in store. We continue to train every year, all year-round, ready for this event.
Not only is this event for the American Lung Association, it also comes with some heated competition.
Team goal is to win again. We came in second place the first year and we won the last 3, so we're trying to win again and make sure that our name stays on that trophy.
Go, George! Although we were hoping our firefighters would win, they finished in second place this year. From the Renaissance Center in downtown Detroit, I'm Nick Buckler for Shelby This Week.
Quite impressive. Shelby firefighters and the American Lung Association has raised almost $300,000 overall in the fight to prevent lung disease. You may not know her name, but you might have heard her voice. Bonnie Bowman has been a dispatcher for Shelby Police for 22 years. Before that, Utica Police Dispatch for 10. Her longtime career is good, but the bad news is that Bonnie was diagnosed with cancer 2 years ago. Doctors say she's cancer-free, but she can't work, has nerve damage, and is still in a lot of pain. That's where Shelby Police step in. Since financial struggles are adding up, they're holding a fundraiser at Coyote Joe's on March 26 at 6 p.m. Bonnie's coworkers say she's more than just a voice over dispatch. Utica Police Chief Dave Faber tells us more.
Well, Bonnie used to work for the city of Utica, but it was before I started. I started 22 years ago, and she had just recently, before I started, had switched to work for Shelby Township, and so I didn't know her as a co-worker, but I've known her as a friend the entire 22 years that I've been here in Utica. Well, when I first started here 22 years ago, also, we shared a radio with Shelby Township. So same radio frequency, so all our calls would be dispatched on the same frequency. So we kind of work together in that aspect of it. But you know, all the different functions. Our departments, Shelby and Utica, have always worked close together, and we participate in the same functions and such. So.
This event is spearheaded by Shelby Lieutenant Scott Trumbo, who's worked with Bonnie for 20 years. Trumbo has rallied the community together for his coworker and friend. This fundraiser will be catered by local restaurants Nick's 22nd Street, Esplendido's, and Crank's Catering. Coyote Joe's is located at 49440 Ryan Road. Tickets are $20 in advance, $25 at the door. Along with this event for Bonnie Bowman, there's also a fundraising site for additional donations, www.gofundme.com/Bonnie Bowman. For more information, call 586-731-2121. Coming up, a local congresswoman won't run for another term, and a mother sentenced soon for child abuse. Stay tuned.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning, 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash, 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
U.S. Representative Candace Miller is closing the curtain after years in Congress. The Congresswoman announced recently, right here in our studio, that she will not seek re-election at the end of her tenure. She served over 12 years in Congress for the 10th District. A surprise move, as she's been in politics and involved in many committees, from Border Patrol to chairing the House Administration Committee. Miller is the only woman chair of a standing committee in the U.S. House and says it's time for her to spend more time at home.
It has been the greatest privilege and my sincere personal honor to serve the people of Michigan's 10th Congressional District as their voice in the United States House of Representatives. People of faith, people of family, people of community, hard-working people, decent people, patriots who are constantly engaged in building our community, our state, and a stronger nation. This is a community that I love, that I call home. And at the conclusion of my current term in office, I will be coming home. I will not seek re-election. Our founding fathers created an incredible republic, and every generation has stepped up, taken the baton, and done their part to preserve and to expand liberty, democracy, and that most precious element of the human experience, freedom. And I freely pass the baton to whomever my community chooses to serve as their next voice in the U.S. House of Representatives. None of us knows what the future will bring, but I hope God grants me grace to continue to give back to this magnificent place we call Michigan.
Miller served 2 terms as Michigan Secretary of State, then moved to Congress in 2003. She's represented this community for almost 40 years in some way or another. A loss for Michigan for sure. We hope she stays politically involved in the community somehow, if not in a statewide office position, maybe locally in Macomb County. In other news, St. Patrick's Day brings Irish fun to the township, Irish food, colors, and traditions. The ever-famous Shamrock's Irish Pub, located in downtown Utica, is always a popular place to visit on this green holiday. Joe Marinick, owner of the Shamrock, is among those who call it one of the most celebrated holidays in our area.
Our business is going to be open, obviously. We're going to have a great old time. It's our 80th straight year of celebrating St. Patrick's Day at the Shamrock. We'll move some tables around, some chairs out, serve a lot of food, and most importantly, we'll have a good time and serve a lot of drinks. And we'll take care of each other and enjoy the day and the springtime that's coming. St. Patrick's Day is also a time for celebrating springtime season. We all know the winter's over with and the good weather's coming. So St. Patrick's Day falls right between that, and we enjoy 2 celebrations on that day: the arrival of spring, and most importantly for us, the arrival of St. Patrick's Day.
Marinick also says no matter what the weather's like outside, maybe some snow on the ground, patrons always have a big green smile on their face.
We're fortunate enough, Megan, to have an outdoor patio, which we enclose with a tent that's heated and well lit. And so it not only expands our capabilities for customers, but also protects us from the weather, which we know sometimes could be 60 degrees like 3 years ago, or 5 above last year. So we take care of ourselves. We make sure we're well heated inside and out.
Hundreds of guests will be in and out of this Irish pub, but it's all worth it once the bagpipe music starts playing. Effective April 1st, WOW will impose a payment convenience fee. $5 per transaction when you make a payment over the phone with a customer service representative, and $2 per transaction for making a transaction at a WOW payment center. Ways to pay your bill at no cost: automated payment by phone, pay by mail, or pay online at wowway.net. WOW will remind you about the extra charges in your next billing statement. If you have any questions about these new fees, call 248-677-9030 or email Vice President Robert DiNardo at the email on your screen, robert.dinardo@wowinc.com. We've all dredged through it, a round of Arctic cold followed by deceiving warm days. It's been tough for commuters on Shelby roads. Recently, countless car accidents were spotted all over the township. Here's one at Van Dyke and 22 Mile Road. As you can see, icy road conditions along with sleet made it difficult for motorists to stop.
Honestly, I'm just sitting in my office. I heard a loud boom. I looked outside my window. Couldn't see anything until I seen the emergency services pull up. By the time I seen that, they had the tow trucks there. They pulled the cars out. I seen a pretty wrecked up pickup truck. So I take a walk down the street and see everyone's all right. Shows the outstanding service by the emergency service in here in Shelby Township. They had this place cleaned up.
At this scene, no one was hurt, but this second accident on the corner of Shaner and 23 Mile, at least a 2-car crash, happened around 9 a.m. this past Thursday. We're unsure of how critical injuries were at that accident. Cleaning up these accidents keep police and firefighters busy. Officials remind us to drive safe and be cautious of what's going around you. A Shelby mother charged with felony abuse will not face a jury trial. 22-year-old Adriana Rhodes pleaded no contest to felony child abuse, leaving a child in a vehicle resulting in death. Last month, the circuit court judge dismissed the second-degree murder charge against Rhodes from the death of her 2-year-old son, James Nelson, who died on September 3, 2013, after being locked in his car seat in a minivan for 9 hours. James was left in the minivan parked in front of their home at DeQuinder Estates, where Rhodes lived with James and a roommate. No one has confessed to who put James in the car seat. 3 weeks after James's death, police arrested Rhodes. Then back in May, her family set bond and she was placed under house arrest. In December, a judge granted the removal of her tether. Rhodes' charge of felony child abuse can face her up to 15 years in prison time. Since Rhodes pleads no contest, she won't face a jury trial and will be sentenced by a judge. That date coming up, March 17th. A Utica Community Schools robotics team is taking on the world. The UCS Thunder Chickens will take part in the Robotics World Championship competition in April. The team includes Brendan Coffey, Ryan Oleski, Kevin Kausch, Dante Paglia, and Andrew Fleury. Using science, technology, and engineering, teams build a robot that's no larger than an 18-inch cube but can expand to as high as 6 feet tall. High schools from 26 countries around the world will compete in this event. The championship is held in Louisville, Kentucky. A local school has earned a top chess championship. Roberts Elementary in Shelby has won the Michigan Scholastic Team Chess Championship for the 8th time in school history. Players competed in 5 sections depending on grade and experience. Roberts' achievement is among 6 teams and 8 individual medals earned by Utica Community Schools. The chess games were held last month at the U of M Dearborn campus. Pictured are Keegan Forbes, Stephen Smith, Chase Follis, and Evan Ake. Students still get to checkmate at the 20th annual chess tournament in May. Congrats to the winners. In more school news, students looking for jobs, Utica Community Schools is sponsoring its Career Expo on Thursday, March 19th. The Career Expo is for all students and parents, located at Eisenhower High School. The expo goes from 7 till 9 p.m. 100 career representatives will be in attendance, offering information on their line of work, how they prepared for their jobs, and more. In health news, a stroke can be silent, life-threatening, and life-changing. We have the best way to prevent strokes, understanding the risks. John Martin tells us more about stroke safety.
Doctors Ali Shakir and Wilma Agnello have teamed up to present a lecture on a major cause of strokes that may be undetected in many people. They want you to know that an irregular heartbeat can greatly increase your chance of stroke.
A very common irregular heartbeat is called atrial fibrillation. Atrial fibrillation is approximately present in 1 out of every 6 patients who have strokes. Atrial fibrillation is present. It's a common etiology or common reason why patients have strokes. What happens is this irregular heartbeat, the upper chambers of the heart go very, very fast. And when they go very, very fast, blood clots can develop in the heart. And when the blood clots go to the brain, subsequently result in stroke. So the challenging part of atrial fibrillation is that approximately half the patients who have atrial fibrillation don't even know they have it. So it's an irregular heartbeat from the upper chambers of the heart, which goes undiagnosed.
Dr. Shakir and I are collectively giving this lecture on April 9th really to heighten the awareness of atrial fibrillation and its intimate connection to stroke in the community. It's critically important that people realize that this arrhythmia in the heart, atrial fibrillation, is accountable for about 20% of strokes, period. And these strokes among patients who have atrial fibrillation actually are much more devastating than some of the other strokes. So the whole goal of this and the whole push of the American Heart Association is to heighten the awareness in the community so that people have examinations, people have EKGs, and if they have any signs or symptoms of stroke, immediately proceed to a hospital.
The most important thing to diagnose it is a routine EKG, which that and a physical exam, which their primary care physician can perform, can pick up this irregular heartbeat. In some patients where we have difficulty picking up the irregular heartbeat, there are different monitors which are available. Simple monitors, such as wearing a monitor for 24 hours. Another option is these monitors which are available for 21 days. The newest, coolest things are people have cell phones. And actually, the cell phones have this app which is present, which can actually detect irregular heartbeats. And for some patients who don't want to carry that around, there's also these injectable monitors which are present. They're about the size of about half my finger, and they can be injected underneath the skin, right over the heart. And all that it is it watches every heartbeat for the next 3 years.
So basically, sometimes a person might have a normal heartbeat, and other times they might have an abnormal heartbeat.
Correct, and that's the biggest challenge in making the diagnosis, is that their heartbeat can be normal at times, and then at times it goes into this irregular heartbeat. And when it does, if it's not detected, that's when the blood clots can develop.
There are two different types of stroke. The first type of stroke is called an ischemic stroke. That's where you would have decreased blood flow to the brain because of a blockage in one of the arteries that goes to the brain, either within the brain or one that actually extends in your neck into the brain to provide blood circulation. The second type of stroke is a hemorrhagic stroke, and that's a little bit different. That's when you have a blood vessel in the brain that might burst, and that's handled and treated in a totally different manner. So people could have symptoms like a sudden unexplained headache, sudden numbness on one side of the body, sudden weakness on one side of the body, difficulty speaking, difficulty getting the words out, incoordination, gait imbalance. And those signs and symptoms should prompt everyone to immediately call 911.
A free lecture on arterial fibrillation and stroke is set for April 9th at 6:30 p.m. at the Henry Ford Hospital in Clinton Township. Call 1-800-532-2411 to register. For Shelby This Week, this has been John Martin reporting.
There's a maple syrup program at Shadbush Nature Center on Saturday, March 14th from 11 a.m. till 3. Come out to learn how sugar gets into trees. Check out maples and learn the tapping maple process. Visitors can also use an old-fashioned brace and bit to drill a tap hole into a tree. Check out the boiling down process of making maple syrup and finish off with some ice cream and, of course, real maple syrup. This delicious event costs $3. It's located at the Nature Center on Ryan and Hamlin Roads. Call 586-323-2478 for more information on this tasty event. And that's Shelby This Week. You can watch us online all the time at shelbytv.org. And don't forget to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/ShelbyTWPTV. Thanks for watching.
It's breakfast time. Pancakes and syrup. Pancakes and syrup. Pancakes and syrup. It's breakfast time. Pancakes and syrup. Pancakes and syrup. Pancakes and syrup. It's breakfast time. Y'all know me as bitch with the beats. Guaranteed to rock hard just like the E. See the M-A-R-K-I-E. Ain't no other MC say like me. Every time I rock from here to Europe, you know I'm making pancakes and syrup. Yep, I rub my tummy. Yum, 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 yum. Pancakes and syrup.